Hello, welcome back to the chaos that is Shiny and Books. I'm in the exact same position as yesterday's video because I'm continuing on. If you didn't see it, I'm redesigning book covers. You can go and watch that one if you want to get the full idea of what's happening. But basically 2 years ago I started redesigning book covers. I was going to make an online shop where I make them available to download, print out, and you can put them on your own books to replace your own book dust jackets. And then I decided that I absolutely hate every single piece of art that I've ever created. So if you missed the first video, I will leave it linked below, but I did a redesign of Twilight, where if the Twilight books were Goosebumps covers, I redesigned Big Little Lies because it's my favorite book ever, and Anxious People because I absolutely hate the original cover. So in this video I'm going to be showing you my redesigns for the Diviners series because mine don't match each other. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, not because I don't like it, but just simply because it was fun. And The Invisible Life of Addie Larue. Okay, so starting with the Diviners books, mine do not match each other. So this is the first book. Yes, it still has a clearance sticker on it. This is a great cover. It's great, it represents the book, and underneath the dust jacket it has this really cool design that looks like this. Love it. Great work for the first book. The second book comes out and they change it to this. Completely different to the first book. Doesn't match, the hardcovers don't match. Underneath is nothing, like it's just not the same. The third and the fourth hardcover looks like this, but they only had paperbacks that matched for the first and the second. I think they all match now. I think there's paperbacks for all of them that match. And Australia has a different set that matches, but I started collecting the hardcovers, so now my set doesn't match. And they had some really beautiful special editions recently, but they are too expensive for me. So I wanted to make my own set of special editions of this book. So my challenge for myself was that I wanted the spines, because there's obviously 4 books, I wanted the spines to line up and look like something really cool. In some of the special editions, the spines lined up, and because I started this before those special editions had come out, I was really worried that those special editions were going to steal my idea, but they didn't. So if I'm remembering correctly to the first book, because it's been a few years, there is something to do with an Ouija board. A Ouija board. How do you say that word? A Ouija board. A Ouija board? I don't know. Anyway, in the very beginning of the book, there is a scene with that. So I'm like, what if the spines were a Ouija board? Ouija board. I'm second guessing myself. Well, what are those boards? But instead of saying like A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way across like they usually do, it said the title of the series. It said The Diviners Libre. So all I did was I went online and I found, again, this is why like I started second guessing myself with releasing this into the world, because I wasn't really doing anything original. I was kind of like taken from other places. But anyway, I found a board and I took the corner pieces, and obviously the board is normally rectangle, so I had to like squish it down to a square. So I took the corner pieces and I redrew them in and like, yeah, moved them so it was squished in, and then I looked at the font and took the letters that I needed to create the Diviners, and then the background I made it like a wood texture, and that was my design for the spines. Obviously I then had to put that onto something because it can't just be the spines. So for the cover I showed you the under the dust jacket for the Diviners, and that design is also like the chapter headers of that. So I thought it would be cool if I took that design that goes across the spine and like create a portrait so that the entire book cover could be that. If you can, you'll see what I mean in the video. Yeah, so basically I just took a photo of my book flat and then I traced that design and made it into the book covers. And then I got a retro font because this is set in like the 20s, and I wrote the titles out. And then I decided to make them neon because the new covers that they've created are like neon, so I took that inspiration. And there are my 4 covers. I then obviously had to try and line the spines up. If you didn't see my first video, you will know that I cancelled this idea because I went and printed all of the covers off at Officeworks and I accidentally printed them the wrong size. And now it's been 2 years. So then today I was like, I'm just gonna make this video. I'm gonna go to the library, I'm gonna reprint them off, and I'm gonna make this video. So I went to the library and I still managed to print them off the wrong size. There's like a centimeter gap. But anyway, here's my Diviners, and the spines, you will see, hold on, let me get them together. Okay, it's gonna be hard to hold. The spines line up. Da, da, da. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty proud of this. So yeah, the original covers versus my covers, I will show you. Obviously the original ones don't even match, but then I have my covers versus the neon covers. And yeah, I am pretty happy with how they turned out. And then on the back of all of them, I have that like eye design from the inside of the original like front cover. And they all have that in the color, except they're all the wrong bloody size. I need to work this out. Yeah, so if you want to cover your hardcover Diviner books that don't match and you want to make them match and make them have a really cute freaking spine that lines up and looks like an Ouija board, then stay tuned, because once I fix it, I will leave it linked below. I'm going to create a free Patreon. I'm using that service because I just think it's going to be the easiest, because most people have Patreon anyway. I've noticed lots of creators have it. Mine's going to be free. You can go and sign up to the free Patreon below, and then when I've worked it out, I will leave a download link. I know Patreon has a shop, but I just think I'm just going to put it up so you can just download it, add it. And I also made these into a bookmark, which I forgot to bring my bookmarks down. They're upstairs. So yeah, one size has, instead of making the board a square, I elongated it all the way and just like rejigged all the different sizes and made a cute little diviner's bookmark. Next up, we have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I'm actually glad that I redid this one, and I kind of want to cut the author's name off this one because I feel like, allegedly, I don't 100% know, but I think this author is potentially just on the wrong side of history at the moment, so maybe I want to redo this again and cut off her name. But I don't think I need to tell you the premise of this story to make my design make sense, but basically I wanted my book cover to be just the front of a newspaper. So I designed a Evelyn character, what I thought Evelyn's face looked like, because her real face isn't in either of the original covers. And then I made it look like a newspaper, like a newspaper article. Like I put the author's name as like the header of a newspaper. I don't know. I made the texture like a newspaper texture. And then the font, this is why I can't sell it, because the text on the front of the newspaper is just the first chapter of the book. The first chapter of the book is like a newspaper article. So yeah, when I originally printed it off, again, I printed off the wrong size. I printed it off in paperback, like it fits a paperback instead of my hardcover, but whatever. So yeah, here we have, I'll put it on the screen, the original covers versus my newspaper print one. I actually ended up hating this, and I'm not gonna even put it on my hardcover, but it would be cool as an art print. So I think I'll leave it available as an art print to download maybe, I don't know. Also, but the author, I don't know, ugh. All right, lastly, and this one I went through many phases. So The Invisible Life of Addie Larue, if you haven't read this book, it is about this girl who can never be remembered. So everyone she meets forgets her, and there are chapters in this book where like people draw her, but then they forget her and they just don't remember who this drawing is of. So my idea was that I was going to draw, like it looks like a charcoal sketch, as if like one of the people in this book drew this girl, and then the face would be smudged, because in pictures like her face is always blurry and like they just can't remember her, they can't remember her face. So I was going to draw her face being smudged. I thought that was a cool idea. But then once I started drawing it in Procreate, I decided that I hated it. I used to do a lot of charcoal drawings, like actual charcoal, but I'm still learning how to use digital art, and I just hated it. So then I was like, okay, I want to do a close-up of her face. So I started drawing that, and I also hated that, but then I figured out that since I've done this, like I started doing this ages ago, but an actual publisher created a version of the book with that exact idea. So I'm glad I didn't go with the charcoal face. So what I ended up doing is going back to the close-up face, and like I said in my last video, if you missed it, I'm still trying to find what my art style is, and to be honest, I really don't know what it is, but I think if it's going to be anything, I really like doing these like cartoon-like things with the blocky, like posterized style, just because it's easier to do. So there are a lot of different covers for Addie Larue. There's the original black one, the one I have is blue, there's a white one, I don't know how many others there are, but if you know me, you know my favorite color is pink. So I'm like, I want a pink version of Addie on my shelves. I really like the bright, fun book covers, but fantasy books tend to have really dark, moody covers, and I like mine bright. So I made myself an Addie Larue cover. So here's my pink one. I decided that it would be fun. Originally I had it so that the original font from the black edition of this book with just the text went over her face, but then I decided it might be fun if there was no text and it was just the 7 freckles on her face. So that's what I've done, and that is my version of that. I haven't printed it off yet because I actually need to redo it so that it fully wraps around. I don't know, because I tried to make it into a bookmark and like it cuts off some of her freckles, because like when you cut it into bookmark size, her freckles are gone. And she needs 7 freckles, so I need to redo it. So the bookmark didn't work because when I did that, she only got half her freckles. So yeah, there we have the original Addie Larue cover versus my Addie Larue cover. I like the originals. I actually think they're a lot better than mine, but I just wanted something fun. And I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to see what I could come up with if I was going to redesign the cover. So yeah, if you would like any of these pieces of art as a bookmark or as a book cover, I will leave the Patreon linked, and eventually at some point I will upload them when I get the confidence to actually post them for other people. I don't know. The fact that people are because selling AI art makes me feel better about this, so maybe I will just throw it out there. Let me know what book covers you would redesign, because I actually have a couple more ideas, and I think in the new year, maybe in January or February, I will create another one of these videos where I will share a couple more book covers that I'm designing, or redesigning, I should say. And don't judge me. I'm not an artist. Clearly I haven't gone to art school. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun and making fun things to display on my shelves. So don't forget to watch part 1, because I really liked the Twilight books that I made. Well, really liked. I liked it in theory, but I don't exactly like how mine turned out. But yeah, give me more books that you think I should redesign. If there's a book that you want a special edition of and you don't have a special edition because one doesn't exist, maybe I'll make a special edition, especially for you. I don't know. I need to go. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I'll see you hopefully tomorrow for another bookmas video. I